You boys are live.
Live. We're live.
Alive.
It's been so long.
Hey everyone, I'm Jim,
I'm Steve.
and we're part of the Spinning Wheels tour going from Victoria, BC to St. John's, Newfoundland. We're coming to...
Mike Logren behind the camera.
That's right, Darlene, just off camera as well. We are just outside of Quebec City.
Yes, we're in Quebec.
We're in Quebec.
Provence. We're in a. It's called Levi's. Just over the bridge from Quebec City. We rode here today from Trois-Rivières, and it was about 135 kilometers with some unexpectedly steep hills.
Thank goodness they all showed up after 100 kilometers.
Okay, let me give you some stats. To get here, we have ridden so far 6,370 kilometers. To put that into context, if you were thinking of riding between Toronto and Ottawa,
I have thought about doing that.
It would be about 16 times. And for the elevation gain that we've accumulated so far, it's 39,291 meters, which, to give that some context, if anybody's familiar with Whistler Mountain, think about the base of the mountain, where you get the chairlifts, and then the vertical rise being the very, very top of the mountain, the height of the chairlifts. So riding up that, a total of 26 times.
Wow. Also, when we were planning this thing in Ontario, the shortest route across Canada I could find was 5,500 kilometers. 800 kilometers past that. And so, yeah, that's pretty impressive.
Jim, why don't you tell us to the last
little bit?
So, yeah.
Holy smokes. Well, I'm going to take you back to Ottawa, which was a special time for me because I got to go home. We rode in on the 24th and had an awesome meal prepared by Krista. And then we got down to work because the morning of the 25th, we had an event in Britannia Park. Just special shout outs to Bridgehead and Iris and Tesla e-bikes just down the road in Britannia for showing up. We had a bunch of people show up. And it was great to see everyone and made some good contacts. We actually didn't end up going for a ride, but that was okay because everyone was so busy chatting. Then later on that night, the Kirby crew, which is the street across from my house, along with Krista, put on a barbecue for us. We had 30 to 40 people there, and we had the banner up across Wanda, and all 40 of us got in front of the RV with the banner, and we took a few pictures on Instagram and YouTube and Facebook if you want to see it. So thanks to everyone there.
Jim's friends and neighbors love him and Krista, and it was obvious with the event that they put on that evening. Food was great and plentiful, as was the conversation. For the Britannia Park, it was very nice to see a number of your friends, including some who rode us in, and Maria. I haven't seen Maria. I guess no longer. She's recently married, so no longer Morano. I can't recall what her new married name is now, but very nice to see her.
Yeah. Well, thanks to Jeff and Wayne for meeting us in Carleton Place and riding along the rail trail with us. And thanks to Ray and Chris for riding with us when we were heading out of town. And so the barbecue was over. The next morning, there was a radio interview with CBC Radio Ottawa Morning. Check our media page for that. Then we hit a boxing class, a Boxing for Health. After that, it was fun. The next day, we went for a ride in Gatineau Park, and went to Champlain Lookout, did the hills there, and a bunch of other people showed up for that one. That was pretty cool as well. That was Saturday, leads us into Sunday, where we rode out to my dad's place, and that was also another special event, especially for someone named Mike Snessinger, because that was his first fish fry, and I believe he was quite impressed with that. But it was so nice. I got to see my family again, so then here's where
Well, if I'd like to pause with an interjection of Mike stepped in for an emergency.
Yep, he certainly
Big
did.
hero. Darlene had to stay back in Toronto for a bit. Popped in and drove from Peterborough to your dad's place.
Yeah.
When Darlene could rejoin us.
That's right. So Mike got us from Peterborough to Ottawa, and then back towards Kingston, halfway to Kingston where my dad lives. And Mike Snessinger, we really appreciate everything you did
Love
for
you,
us.
man.
Love you. Exactly. Okay, so Monday morning.
One nice moment. When you rode in and your dad saw you and he gave you a big hug, he closed his eyes. He was very in rapture, holding his son. Everybody who's a father knows that feeling.
Absolutely. I also then got to ride with my sister, which was a huge deal for me. So that was pretty cool. So Monday morning, we get in the RV and we drive to Smith Falls, where I finally got to meet in person Pat Evans and her husband.
But that's west. I mean, that's
east. I know. We rode back east, or we drove east after riding west. Wait a minute. And so we got to participate in an outdoor boxing class, and had a really good talk with people with Parkinson's and their loved ones, and so that was great. So that's Monday afternoon. We then get back in the RV, drive back to my dad's place, so Steve and I can get on our bikes and go west again to a place called Gananoque, where I got to meet some more family, Brian and Brenda, Julie. Thank you. And thank you very much for the ice cream cake, the chocolate cake.
Didn't last long.
The cookies and the muffins. Gone. After that ride, thunderstorm warning. So we actually got in the RV and drove further west, where we met up with Judy, who hosted us in Kingston for that night. Judy, thank you very much. That was such a great evening. It was so nice to see you again. We really appreciated that. Lots of fun. Tuesday morning, we got up and immediately drove to Belleville, which is further west, where Paul set up an amazing event for us. We'd never seen Spinning Wheels Tour up on a digital promotion board. And that was out in front of the Quinte West Health and Wellness Center.
And posters that he had prepared and on display.
Yeah.
The weather was a challenge that day.
Yeah.
Everything that could be done, Paul did well.
Yeah, so much effort.
I like the ride by the river.
He took us on a ride in downtown Belleville, where we went down by the river. We stopped off at the break room to say hello and thanks for them donating the coffee for the event, and got back. Mayor of Quinte West was there, said hello, met a couple other people with Parkinson's. Had some really good talks, so we really enjoyed that. But we couldn't stay in Belleville for very long, because we immediately had to get in the RV and drive to Kingston. This time, at least, we were coming east, where Aaron O'Brien set up this a really touching event for us. Do it.
So we rode in. To be honest, we didn't ride in that far.
1 kilometer.
And we were met with flanks of people with Parkinson's on either side of a path, all cheering at the top of their lungs, holding noisemakers with that you bang together, and encouraging us to just ride like we were emperors entering the Coliseum.
Yeah. It
What a feeling.
yeah. To be honest, I started holding back the tears then. Was unsuccessful later on. I was holding back tears for 20 minutes before I finally got control of that. So it was so nice. The questions we got from people who were there, it was like Aaron O'Brien is creating such a great community in Kingston, and Paul is part of a community in Belleville, and really did something to try to bring that forward. So we are very appreciative of both of your efforts. So Kingston, and we're still on the same day, we get back into the RV and we drive to a place called Morrisburg, where we get out. And by this time, the rain that had been promising to fall all day had fallen and continued to fall. So we went from Morrisburg to the Long Sault Parkway, where we met up with Tom and Jill.
How old is Tom?
Tom is what, 18, 19?
Hundreds? That's
No, what is he? He's 80. Tom is 80.
Tom is 80. He is a force of nature. He has Parkinson's. He is a whip smart intellect and energy to spare. He was wondering, it's teeming rain. He's been waiting in the rain for us to
for an hour
show up.
Yeah.
So he's soaked.
Yeah.
And he's thinking, oh, do I really have to get on my bike now? And what's his wife say?
Virginia says, Tom, you're getting on that bike, goddammit. And Tom got on that bike. And he and Jill rode us to the end of the Long Sault Parkway. And we had to go back a kilometer to get to Jill and Sharon's house. And they brought in some friends along with Tom and Virginia. And what a great night.
Oh, the miracle corn was...
The miracle corn.
Here's a nice coincidence. He was. It turns out that Jill is a local judge. We were talking about legal things. He said he's an author. Turns out, I used to manage his book for a short period of time when I was at Carswell.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
The small world.
It is definitely a small world. And so we spent the night after. So 2 events and a ride in the rain. Waking up at Judy's house, 2 events, a ride in the rain, a great supper, and that was one day. So the next day we woke up, we were in Cornwall, we went to the Rotary Club breakfast, where we got to meet a bunch of people, and they asked, we had breakfast, which was nice, and then they asked questions of us and for us for about an hour before they all had to go to work. And at that point, we got driven down or escorted down to the Cornwall Civic Complex, where local member of Parliament, the mayor, a bunch of people who worked for the city, few reporters, all got out in front of the Cornwall Civics Complex, and we had some sort of like media press thing going on where there was a speaker and TV, and it was that was the first time I've ever been part of something like that. City of Cornwall Tourism, thank you very much for the hoodies, the sunglasses, the coffee cups, the stickers, the literature, and
the waterfront,
the waterfront trail, and all your good wishes. And Tom and Virginia, thank you very much for putting that on for us. And so that morning we got on our bikes and we ended up in Quebec before the day was done. Actually, it only took about 25 kilometers to cross the border, maybe 35. And we put another 110 on to get to northeast of Montreal, Laval. So that's basically that's what's happened in terms of events the past couple of weeks. What a time. So appreciative of all the effort and time people are putting in to help the Spinning Wheels Tour be a success. Thank you very much.
To me, the amount of the receptions that we're getting are they're warm. They're filled with encouragement for us. and they're getting a little bit more plentiful. They're rather than being once a week. We find ourselves talking with groups, frankly, all the time now.
Yeah, and that's like so. I'm so happy we're doing that. It's a bit of a surprise, but so happy that we're able to do that. And we do have some events coming up between now and the end of the tour. What about talking about where we're going to be for the next little while?
I'll give you the rundown until we are on the rock. Tomorrow we ride to Rivière de Loup, which is September 3rd. Then Edmundston, New Brunswick on the 4th. Clearview, New Brunswick on the 5th. Fredericton on the 6th. Petitcodiac, New Brunswick on the 7th. Sackville, New Brunswick on the 8th. Truro, Nova Scotia on the 9th, my birthday, mark that.
Very important.
And Halifax, Nova Scotia on the 10th. I can't help but notice there's no breaks in those days. That's a lot of riding. But then when we get to PEI, we're thinking of maybe taking a break day. Maybe
we'll take a break day
in
PEI.
Maybe no.
Yeah.
And it'll be good to see Dan.
Absolutely.
And then we go back to Nova Scotia, and we wend our way to the Sydney Harbor for September the 16th to catch our ferry at 5:30 p.m. And when we do, we'll get to Newfoundland on the 17th at about 10 a.m. We have a 135 kilometer ride, and then party of the decade. You're invited.
That's right. There's still time to get your tickets to Newfoundland in time for the party on the 17th. Let us know if you're coming or not. We can reserve a table for you, and we'll do that. Upcoming events we planned, because we haven't solidified it yet. We're going to stop in Moncton. We're going to meet a group of people there. That's going to be great. We're going to stop in Truro, like Steve said. We're hopeful to have an event there. Halifax, we're going to have an event there. We might have something in Prince Edward Island. We'll have to see for sure in St. John's, Newfoundland, when we get there. So we're still not done. We're still not done meeting people, both informally and formally. What a great time this is.
Your writing has been impressive, gentlemen, but you're talking all the time. It's been, may I say, monotonous? I mean,
is this a formal question?
I'm reading this from Mike in Toronto.
Okay, Mike in Toronto says. Well, thank you, Mike in Toronto. Okay, so next week, what day is it today? Is it the 2nd?
Yes.
The 9th. Next week will be Steve's birthday. We'll be coming live from Truro. And so it'll be a special birthday edition of Spinning Wheels Tour YouTube live broadcast.
How old am I? I won't tell.
And neither will anybody else. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for tuning in. As always, it is a pleasure. We have two more of these coming at you before we're all done, and then potentially we'll put something together at the very end to do that. But here we go. Right, we're in Quebec. Maritimes are coming. St. John's, Newfoundland, we're coming. So until next week, thank you.
Thank you, Athletes Care.
Yes.